So imagine for a second that you love your mini hatch or convertible, but you've got a growing family or you just need a bit more space. But a Golf seems too sensible and you still love sharp handling, so you don't want to go for one of those high riding crossover thingamajigs. Well, that's where Mini is hoping this Clubman comes in, because it's longer, wider and has a bigger boot, but hasn't lost all of its personality. And if you still want to, you can put it in sport mode and enjoy that go-kart like handling. Unlike the previous Clubman, which was essentially a stretched Mini with quirky doors, this car is now much bigger, measuring a whopping 270mm longer and 73mm wider. Get in and the driving position is very low slung, but there's much more shoulder and knee room, and also a lot more practical touches with things like these large cup holders, a full-size glove box, and door bins for your wallet or extra coffee cups. Rear visibility is a bit of an issue because of course those doors do meet right in the middle of your rear view mirror, which can be a bit jarring at first, but after a while with the car you do get used to it. The interior certainly has a premium vibe with lots of plastics which look and feel expensive, and even things straight from BMWs like these indicator stalks. But you'd never find highlights like these illuminated door trims in a BMW 1 Series. They look more like something out of an 80s roller disco. This car is even fitted with a huge illuminated neon ring, which does things like change colour when you change the temperature, go into eco driving mode and take your foot off the accelerator, or put your foot down in sport mode where it acts like a huge rev gauge. So Minis have always been notoriously cramped for rear seat passengers, and the previous Clubman had a small side door which opened into the road in the UK, so that wasn't ideal. But how times have changed. These conventional doors open nice and wide, making it far easier to get in and out, and there's lots more space back here with actually surprisingly good headroom, plenty of knee room, and also just enough space for 3 people to sit across the rear bench. The Clubman's most iconic feature is of course its twin opening rear doors, which must have given Mini's engineers a real headache, but are spring loaded so they actually open with the minimum of effort. And when they are open, they actually give you pretty good access to this boot, which is huge for a Mini, measuring 360 litres. That's just 20 shy of a Golf. Fold the rear seats pretty much flat, and that expands to 1250 litres. So we know it's a lot bigger, but how does it drive? Well, if you've ever tried a Mini hatch and thought it was too frenetic, you might actually prefer the Clubman. And that's because the steering is a lot less hyper-reactive and the suspension has been completely redesigned to smooth out far more bumps. The Clubman is also billed as the most refined Mini, and while our car's fitted with 18-inch optional alloy wheels, which do allow the occasional jolt through to the cabin, if you fit smaller alloys, it is very comfortable. But that's not to say this is a Mini which has gone soft. Turn into a corner and it's sharp and precise, and there's good feedback through the steering. The gearbox certainly feels very different to a Golf's as well, with a very snickety feel, which can actually be a bit too notchy at times. We're in the 148 bhp Cooper D, which is probably the pick of the range because it feels quick, with an acceleration from 0 to 62 of 8.6 seconds, yet Mini claims it can return 68 mpg. And in our driving, we've been getting between 50 and 55. And actually, after spending a week with this car, we doubt that most drivers would need the 187 horsepower, really high performance Cooper SD diesel. Of course, you could go for a petrol instead, with either 134 bhp in the Cooper or 189 in the Cooper S. Now the former does suit this car well thanks to its zingy power delivery, but if you want the full hatch experience, then the Cooper S is undoubtedly the most entertaining Clubman to drive. We don't get the entry-level Clubman 1 in the UK, so entry to Clubman ownership is the 20 grand Cooper, while this Cooper D costs from around £22,000. Cooper S is £500 more, and the priciest is the Cooper SD, coming in at around 25 grand. While you'll either love or hate its looks, There's no denying that if you've been in the market for a Mini but need something a bit more practical and dare we say it sensible, then the Clubman could be the car you've been waiting for. That's if you can feel sensible in a car with a huge circular centre console and sport mode giving you go-kart like handling. But could you see yourself behind the wheel of a Mini Clubman? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Click on the inquire button to find out more details about this car, or for any other models visit carkeys.co.uk, and to watch more reviews click one of the links on screen now.